We are back for a recap of episodes 3 through 4 of Love is Blind Season 8 from a therapist's perspective. Now, I'm not going to focus on everybody because it's dry. But there are some things I want to talk about that I picked up on that you guys may have not noticed. But we're going to have a conversation about it. So make sure you hit that like, you subscribe, you do all the do's to support this channel. Now, these 2 episodes, 3 and 4, there were a couple of things that I found quite interesting in these dynamics. Okay. And so from a therapist perspective, let's get into it. Now, in my previous video, if y'all see me looking, I'm looking at my notes now. Okay. Now, let's talk about Madison, Mason, and Alex. Okay. Now, Madison, to me, they're showing a lot of her. They are. She is, to me, the most interesting person of this cast because I think there's a lot of mental health aspects, self-sabotage. She disassociates. She has complex PTSD in my eyes. Okay, like I said in my other videos, she's not my client, but I see why they're focusing so much on her because she brings a lot, but you don't necessarily see it. There's a lot beneath the surface here. Okay, and so let's talk about, Alex's reaction to the idea of having a partner who has mental health issues. All right. The thing between all 3 of them, Madison, Mason, and Alex, I believe, is that I feel like at times, Madison, I don't want to say she manipulates, but she tries to get people to prove themselves and show up for her. And as she's talking and discussing her mental health, she often uses the word resourcing. Okay. I'm a resourced person. So y'all probably didn't pick up on that. As a therapist, I'm like, okay, you've been in some therapy. I think you've been in some trauma-focused therapy. Maybe some EMDR, some DBT. Something that, because she keeps using the word resource. And as a therapist, when I hear the word resourced, that means that you have the resources to cope with and deal with your mental health issues. So her saying in the pods with Alex, I'm a resource person, is indicating to me that she is trying to convey, I have the resources, the coping skills to get through and overcome when I have mental health episodes. And to me, Alex, whenever she talks about these things, he pulls back in. But it's interesting because she appears to want him more than Mason. And Mason, to me, seems like he seemed a little bit more open and willing to go with her through the journey of her mental health. Alex at times seems scared and reserved. He pulls inward. But for some reason, she seems to go towards Alex more than Mason, even though Mason to me has, I don't want to say he's proven himself, but he keeps trying to show and tell her, you're my number one. I want to be with you. I see past the things you've been through. I've seen past the issues. Yet, I feel like at times she is self-sabotaging her dynamic with Mason for Alex. And I'm still, as a therapist, I'm analyzing, I'm assessing, and I'm just like, what is it about Alex that she continues to gravitate towards him when he at times, not that he's avoidant, but he doesn't seem like he would be the most secure in supporting a partner who has mental health issues, where Mason does. So I'm like, what is Madison? What are you really doing? Are you just creating this spider web and both these individuals are caught in your web? Because I feel like there's something below the surface here that I thought we were going to see more of. But it was interesting to watch them. And at times me feel like, are you self-sabotaging? Why are you putting these men in a position to have to prove themselves to you when really, are you really interested? And then I thought it was also interesting how she gave Alex the little bear alien thing. And then the next day or the next date, she said that Mason was the one she was the closest to. So once again, I'm like, what are you doing? You just said you gave this alien thing to your the person you were closest to, and it's your most prized possession. Yet you tell Mason. So I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Okay, what's going on here? So I'm watching that. I'm also keeping in mind that she also is someone who is living with some trauma, a lot of trauma. She's an avoidant. She has an avoidant attachment style. And I think there's some stuff going on here that most of you guys probably don't really pick up on because you're just watching it as an audience. And I am too. But it's the mental health aspect that's like, girl, I got to keep my eye on you because you're doing something, all right? But she appears to want to be more with Alex. And I'm just like, why? When it seems like Mason is the better partner. Maybe I'm missing it. Maybe y'all are team Alex and maybe I'm just more team Mason. But there's something here going on with her and these men that she's putting in these positions to prove themselves. And those are characteristics of someone with an avoidant attachment style, the self-sabotage. When someone gets too close, pushing them away. So I'm like, okay, my little therapist spidey sense is like, we're going to have to keep our eye on you, girl. And I'm also noticing how much camera time she's getting throughout these episodes compared to some of the other ladies who, looking at the casting charts, we're never going to see. Half the people on that cast list we never saw go on dates, okay? And I'm really tired of watching these shows and watching the black woman be just in the background, laying on the couch with a blanket, eating food, okay? Being a support system to the other people who are going on dates. They're not here to support you. They're here to find love just like the rest of these people. Yet, I don't see a lot of them going on dates. The only person we saw really, go on dates was Britt. And let's talk about that a little bit. So there's this triangle between Devin, Britt, and Virginia. All right. And Devin, for the most part, before these episodes, I was like, okay, you seem kind of okay. But then I started to feel like when it came to the two women, he really wanted them to prove themselves to him. Okay. And the story he tells twice about, having that basketball injury, started to take ibuprofen, and it seems like maybe getting addicted to pills. And then he found God, and, he was listening to him more and more. And so he's vulnerable. I'm like, okay, cool. You're showing some vulnerability. You're showing that you can be that person, but can you hold space for other people? And unfortunately, I, as a therapist, did not see him holding space for Britt. Now, he shares his story, and I feel like he's one of the women to prove that I should pick you. Prove to me that I should pick you. With Virginia, he says that I feel like there's something there that you're not telling me or that I don't know. And I do understand that you are making a big decision to marry somebody and you really want to know everything about them. But at times it felt to me like, prove to me that you should be my wife. And I don't think any woman should be in a position where you have to prove to anybody that you are wife material, that you are worthy of being on their arm and living life with them. And that's what it felt like. So Britt decides, hey, you're being vulnerable. Let me be vulnerable. Hold space for me. And so she shares her, shares an experience about being attracted to the same sex, to a woman. And though she has never been in a relationship with a woman, she does believe women are beautiful. And she sees herself kind of being attracted, but in a relationship and being married, she says, I don't really know about that. I know I'm attracted to men. Actually, I think she just says she's attracted to people, which to me is giving a little bit of pansexual, but let's not put labels on it, okay? I don't want to do that. But she's attracted to the person, where they show up as or identify as a man or a woman. She feels like she's just attracted to the person. And that's when I see him start to pull back. You see a look on his face. Where's this story going? You like girls? She like girls? Oh no, we can't do that. But we're on a TV show, so let me hold it together. Okay? So she is vulnerable. And it showed to me that he lacks the ability to hold space and be unconditionally supportive and loving. All right. This is something that Britt has not shared with any friends, any family, and now she's sharing it on a TV show with a stranger who she seems to really like, enjoy, and want to spend time with. But be careful who y'all show y'all vulnerability to, who you share with, because not everyone is able to hold space for you. And in this moment, I feel like, damn, you was feeling her until she told you that story. Okay? And it made me kind of feel like, is he looking for somebody who will pour into him? But can he pour into others, to a partner? Now, he says that he has some things to think about. But I think really he was uncomfortable with the fact that she has been with a woman. And when I say been, it doesn't really seem like she has really been with a woman and was dating. She put her foot in the lady pond and is still trying to figure out if this is something that she'd ever want to do in the future. But she knows right now in her life, she wants to be married to a man. But all he heard was, a woman? You were with a woman? And then his like for her just went, doo-doo-doo-doo. Not to mention he's very religious. I've seen those overtones of religion throughout this season. And I said in my video about the casting, what is that going to give? And so we're seeing it come up in these first couple episodes. And so it was very disappointing to watch her be vulnerable, trust the space, and think it was safe when it wasn't. And so at this point, it's like, okay, Britt, you're not going to get chosen because you shared and was vulnerable and he could not hold space for you. All right. Now, he says he's not judging her. Lies. The motherfucking lies. Okay, the lies. All right. He is judging her. And so then he goes back to Virginia, who her and Britt have vastly different personalities. When Britt walks into a room, her personality shines, lights up. That's why I feel like they had so much more in common than Devin and Virginia did. But he got caught up in the fact that she has been with a woman. Okay, his ego can't handle that. Thinking about, are you going to want to be with me or are you going to want to be with a woman? That's where men's minds go sometimes. That ego is just like, see, now I got to think about you cheating on me with a man and a woman. I can't do that. Okay, so let me run over here to Virginia. He does the same old thing with Virginia, tells her the story, and talks about prayer and wanting somebody who will just pray with him and feeling like there's still something she's not sharing. And she shared a little bit of something about the grandparents, but y'all can let me know, I don't remember the significance of that. But they talk about praying together and they start crying and it's like, I guess he just needs somebody in his eyes who's going to be there and pray with him, but really fill me up. Are you going to fill me up? I haven't heard too much from him about filling the partner up. I hear more about him praying with me, being with me, going to church with me, but not so much about the other person. Now, Virginia, I think in the last episode, talked about being pregnant and, being at, kids' sports games with a baby on her hip. I think he's looking for the Christ-like relationship, a Christian woman with Christian values. And because, Britt shared that story, she ended up not being, in his eyes, Christ-like. Okay, it was very disappointing. Because you're saying you're not judging her, yet you are. And you need to learn how to hold space for other people. And when people are vulnerable, just like you use a space to be safe and be vulnerable, and she held space for you, do the same thing for your partner. Okay? Now, the only other couple I want to talk about our matchup was Sarah and Ben. Because there's a lot of people out there like Ben. Now, Sarah is very much, pro-life, very much about human rights, LGBT, George Floyd, Black Lives Matter. All those things matter to her. showing up, voicing, making your making your voice count and your votes. And so her and Ben are having a conversation once again about politics, life, human rights. Human rights. Okay? And she asked him, did you vote? No, I did not vote. Well, what do you think about George Floyd? Did he say I don't think nothing about it, or he just said, like, I don't know. I guess those things I don't really, like, affect me. I don't really think about them. Privilege. The privilege of waking up and seeing all that stuff on TV happening around you. Oh, didn't affect me. I still got up, drove around, all that Black Lives stuff, Black Lives Matter stuff. It doesn't affect me. So I really don't care. But am I going to say that on TV? No. And it's just like, how can you live in this world with everything going on and turn a blind eye to not vote, to not care about things happening around you? People, maybe he has some black friends, maybe he don't. But it just reminds me of how some people can wake up oblivious. You know, I feel like we're living in an era where it's okay to just like, all that stuff that Trump is saying, it affects him over there, not me. You know, the erasure of LGBT, the community, rights, you know, gender reassignment surgery, all that stuff that's being pulled back and erased from websites, medication, insurances, the army. It doesn't affect me, so that's them over there. But I'm going to drive my little car. I'm going to make my money. I'm going to go play foosball and drink beers on a Friday night because my rights are intact. And I'm just like, man, damn, it must be nice to wake up white. And I know this will probably offend some of y'all, but it's my truth as a black person. That for some people, they're able to wake up with no worry about coming back home, no concern about their insurance, no concern about their rights. And Ben is a prime example. And so Sarah's like, I really want to be with somebody who is informed, who cares, and who I can have these type of conversations with. And she goes back to the ladies' pod, and she's like, the thing I didn't like, was it Virginia who said this? Maybe he can grow into understanding your viewpoints. No, leave him where he is. Okay, leave him over there being oblivious, not caring about the rights of other people. Because when things get tough, and say Sarah and her sister want to go out there to Pride, he said he would go. He keeps referring to them as them people or those people. I don't like that either. Okay? But when it comes down to it, is he really going to be out there on the front lines if she wants to go protest or speak her voice? Even sitting at home having a bowl of cereal about the things that are happening as you're scrolling. All the ICE stuff, all the corruption. Is this going to be the partner you can have a conversation with that about? Or because it's not affecting him, he doesn't care. He doesn't look into the human rights. He doesn't look into any of those things. So do I think he can grow into being that person? Not in this point in his life. Okay. If he hasn't had to, at what age? What is going to make him or need him to turn into that person? Okay. So I hope that they don't end up together. But, you know, we're on episode 4 and we only have one marriage. I think it was Monica. I can't remember his name. Tarzan. Okay. But these episodes are drawn out. They are very drawn out. All right. Now I'm telling y'all, Netflix is pissed off because they gave us a lot of episodes. That lets me know right there, y'all didn't like this season. Y'all didn't like the way it came out. So you said, let's roll this out and do better when it comes to the fall. All right. Now, supposedly I read somewhere that the first set of, the first season of Love is Blind, the New Year, is always the best. Where? because it ain't given. It's not. All right. As a therapist, luckily I can dig deep and look at some of the things going on with some of these people. A lot of mental health aspects are being talked about: depression, substance abuse, a lot of those things, which is good. I guess that's in replacement of the drama because we haven't gotten any in the first 4 episodes. Okay. But I want you to think about what it's like to have a partner who has mental health issues. Do you have a sibling? How do you support them? What does that look like? Can you hold space when your partner is going through something, when your friend is going through something? What does it look like to hold space for somebody else? Okay? That's pretty much like the theme here. But I want to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. Are you watching this season? Are you only watching my recaps? But I will see you guys in the next video, and make sure you love yourself. You take some of this information to do some self-reflection. How are you showing up in your relationship with other people? How are you showing up in your relationship with yourself? And would you ever go on a TV show nowadays to find love? Can't you even find love on TV no more? Okay? But I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.